Thank you, Professor Wong. I was just doing the introduction, Professor Wong. Professor Wong is a president of International Network of Personal Meaning Therapy, and is also the president of International Society for Existential Psychotherapy, and is also American Psychological Association Fellow, which is really a major feat. So without taking much time, I know others will join. Professor Wong, you can start your presentation.
Okay, if my technical people let me. Okay. So I'm happy to speak to you on a topic that's very important. It's also very close to my heart. So I might not have the time to cover all the slides. I hope that my message of tragic optimism will give you a new perspective on how to cope with COVID-19. And this really turned the world upside down. It had caused lots of suffering from Asia to America and to Africa. But I want to make the case that the darkest hour of our chapter can also be the brightest opportunity for awakening and transformation. So we can be better and stronger as a result of going through this pandemic. So right now, I want to talk a little bit about existential crisis, okay? During this pandemic, we can no longer deny our limitations, our vulnerability, and our mortality in a world that's full of danger and death. And also, we are all not only anxious about being affected with this very contagious and deadly virus, but we are all worried about a bleak and uncertain future. So in this webinar, I want to show how meaning therapy can help us to cope with this high level of anxiety and depression. Among all kinds of existential anxiety, death anxiety probably is the most common, most threatening, okay? Our ability to anticipate our own death, our ability to anticipate our own death can strike terror in people's heart. That's why there's a whole theory about terror management. But I'm saying that that this death anxiety can also be our greatest blessing, because it teaches us how to make the best use of our time on earth, how to acquire wisdom on how to live. Okay? Now, here's a good story about good death. There's a story about the death of Ivan Illich. Okay. Ivan is an ordinary person who worked hard and climbed his social ladder. He lived an average life, okay? Work and enjoy, until one day he was brought face to face with his own mortality through a mysterious bout of illness. His life is completely disrupted, and he finds himself thrown into the very depths of hell. His days is filled with darkness and pain and hopelessness. He's screaming pain day and night, and nobody can get close to him. But finally, his ordeal came to an end when he discovered the meaning of life, discovered how to accept death through his caring and compassionate butler. Once he sees the light, his pain is gone, his anxiety is gone. He's able to rejoice and able to see the light and die in peace and joy. So even in the last few hours on his deathbed, the discovery of the meaning of life can redeem his whole life. So I believe that many patients of COVID-19 are going through similar struggles. So in palliative care, in hospice, in my own research on death acceptance, there are two possible kinds of death acceptance. One is to accept death as a natural cycle of life. Okay, it's just a biological fact. So because life is so short, so therefore people seek symbolic mortality through doing something significant, through leaving a mark, leaving a footprint on the sand beach, and try to make a difference in this world. Now, another way of coping with death is to have the belief that there is an afterlife. For example, Christians believe that Jesus prepared a house for them. Look forward to heaven beyond the grave. Even though they suffer in this world for a while, but they still have a hopeful joy. So one good thing about COVID-19 is that we can no longer ignore that. We have to reflect on the meaning of suffering, the meaning of death, so that we can gain the wisdom of how to live, how to do things that really counts. Okay, so the first point we need to learn is Frankl. Now, Frankl's name is mentioned more than any other psychotherapist during this time of pandemic. He's mentioned more often than Freud, than Adler, than anybody, because his logotherapy is really relevant to the current situation. He perfected logotherapy during his stay in Nazi concentration camp, and discovered that meaning is the key to make suffering more bearable. Okay. He also discovered that life holds a potential meaning under any condition, even in the most miserable situations. He's able to learn how to say yes to life. This message can inspire many people during this pandemic. Now, what's logotherapy? Logotherapy, logo comes from the Greek word logo, means word. Logotherapy literally means therapy through meaning. Okay. Now, Frankl's logotherapy is often used in conjunction with medical treatment. Because when we treat patients in life-threatening situations or help patients during palliative care, when to help them with their spiritual struggle, with their existential struggle, and how to find meaning for their suffering, how to understand the meaning of death and life. So logotherapy is often used in palliative care. Okay, now,
Go ahead.
now here, so Franco's discovered something was very simple, but also very profound. Okay, normally people living a horizontal life. They're concerned about success and failure. They live at this level. Franco said, now at this level, that is the life of Ivan Illich. So that is a shadow life if you are successful. If you are not successful, then you live a wasted life. So either way, you lose. You win, you lose. If you fail, you also lose. Because that is going through life, eat and work and sleep and finding pressure. So that is a shadow life. So Franco, the biggest discovery said that life, you need a fundamental change in your life. Try to live vertically. Try to consider the meaning dimension. Okay? You no longer whether your life is success or failure, but whether your life is full of meaning or when your life is empty. Okay? Your life is full of meaning. If in an ideal situation, your life is very fulfilling. You're very fulfilling. Even when your life is not is not successful, like Van Gogh, he could not sell a single painting during his lifetime, but he still lived a meaningful life because he had left with us treasures of beauty that now cost millions of dollars for painting. So he is saying that for as a logotherapy, as a meaning therapist, if you're able to help people to switch from the horizontal dimension to the vertical dimension, then their life will be deeper and richer. So without meaning, your life is full of existential vacuum. It's empty. Okay. Now, if your life have no meaning, then your life is with what he called the tragic trial. You experience suffering and guilt and fear of death. Suffering, guilt, and fear of death. Okay. The result is neurotic trial. If you have tragic trial, it will express itself in depression, aggression, addiction. Now, aggression, the suicide is aggression turned inward. Addiction is also a kind of suicide because drugs can kill you. So this is sad. Your life is full of tragic trial and neurotic trial. That would be miserable way to go through life. But Franco said, fear not. You don't have to if you're able to consider the meaning dimension. Instead of tragic triad, you can have tragic optimism. for the optimism, Franco said that it's possible to remain optimistic in spite of the triad. How we can maintain optimism attitude in the, let me explain to you how that means. Okay, value means giving something to the world, to create a world, through appreciation, gratitude. Attitude to the value means taking a heroic stand towards suffering and faith. Now let's talk about going back. Let's talk about creative value. Okay. Now most people talk about meaning of life as subjective. Oh, I feel my meaning is my life is no meaning or meaningful. But Franco says that meaning of life cannot be purely subjective. Because subjective can be self-deceptive. He's saying that meaning has to do with creating value for society. Does your life create any value for anybody else in the world? So creative value means that you give something of value to the world through creative work. So meaningful work is not what you do, but the attitude you bring to your work. If you bring your heart, your mind, if you throw all you have into your work and try to create something of beauty, of originality, of value, it doesn't matter whether you are serving a table or doing an assistance or doing some simple work. If you do it with all your heart, then you can create some value. So once people stop seeing the creative value in their work will no more meaning. Work with the right attitude, and then we can always create some value, create some meaning in your life. Now, the experiential value is also important because that means we receive every experience from the world with appreciation and gratitude. Now, what that means is that if you experience something positive, so you can be happy, be thankful for the pleasant experience. If you experience something undesirable and negative, you can still be grateful for the lesson you learn, for the lesson and how to grow, how to be courageous, and how to increase in how to build a character. So in other words, if you understand the experiential value, then you can rejoice and continue to grow. Doesn't matter whether you experience good or bad. The last part is probably most important because sometimes you have no work or you cannot work because you're hospitalized, you're lying in hospital bed. Sometimes you have no experiential value because you stay in hospital. All you see, when I was in hospital for months, all you see is white wall, white ceiling. So there's anything in life that can give you joy or because you don't have anything, cannot do anything, you can experience anything. But even in that situation, you can still have attitudinal value. That means you decide to take a heroic stand, take a stance towards suffering, towards fate. You can say, I can be knocked down, but I will not be defeated. So the attitude, the courageous attitude of stare at fate, stare at suffering, can fill your heart with pride and joy as a human being. So that's why Franco was able to hold his head up high in the death camp because of this attitudinal value. Now, for example, in Kenya, now, this is a beautiful mountain. Yeah. If you are depressed and you are disappointed in life, now lift up your eye, lift your eye, look at the mountain. Then you're appreciating nature and look at the beauty of God's creation. And look up the hill, look at the snow-capped mountaintop. Then your heart will be transported to a different world of beauty and goodness and the sacredness. Now here are the basic tenets of logotherapy. Franco is saying that all the technique, all the teachings of logotherapy would not work very well until you buy into these three basic tenets: freedom of will, the will to meaning, and meaning of life. Okay. Now, Franco emphasized the responsible use of freedom. He emphasized two things. The first thing is that you all have freedom. Now, don't say no freedom, because often people do bad things. You know what they say? Oh, I have no choice. The bad guy make me do so. Oh, I have no choice, because the circumstances make me do so. I need money. Therefore, I have to rob a bank. I have to rob people. I have no choice. It's not my fault. So they can blame everything in life to the environment, to the genes. I can't do anything because my parents say I'm no use. I'm damaged. Can't do anything in life. It's so sad to see so many people are so miserable. They stay as a victim because they refuse to recognize that they are the freedom. No matter how bad the environment, for whatever situation, they always have freedom. For example, they talked earlier, the attitudinal value. They always can have the freedom of attitude, the attitude of not yielding, the attitude of not kowtow to power, the attitude of choosing to do the right thing. So many people are so miserable. Often the world, the country is in a mess because people do not want to take responsibility. For example, social distancing, wear masks. People will be able to do that if they have a sense of social responsibility, because they are not only responsible for their own life, they're also responsible for other people's health and safety. If you have a sense of social responsibility, you wear a mask and you keep social distancing. So that's why this freedom and ability is a very important doctrine. We all have the freedom to act responsibly. Okay. The second point is about the will to meaning. Now, this is also a very important. We all know that we have all kinds of needs. We have all drive. Maslow talked about need hierarchy. We have need for safety. And he revived his hierarchy. The highest and the top is transcendence, the need for transcendence. Now, Frankel turns it upside down. Frankel says that self-transcendence or transcend is come from the will rather than need. Will is volition. You know, when you choose what's your value in your life. My life, the objective of my life is to make money. So you see, you cannot say, oh, I have a biological need for money. No, it's I want money, my life goal. You make a choice. Frankel says that you have a choice. Now you have freedom of choice. You choose to make meaning your life goal. That is, you choose, not because you have this biological need. It's your volition to decide to satisfy your spiritual demand that you need to spend your life to pursue something greater than yourself, to do something that will outlast your own life. It's a bigger, a lot more long-lasting than your life. So the second assumption is that you have to choose to say, I want to do something worthwhile with my life. I want to give something, return something to society. I want to help somebody. I want to do something for my parents or do something for my community. I want to do something for the hospital. I want to help out. So that's a purely human motive because now we rise above the biological need, rise above instincts. We're trying to do something to make a difference. Okay. So the search for meaning equal to search for transcendence. Okay. So it is a never-ending process. Okay. It's being human. Human is a meaning-seeking animal, meaning-making animal. We are the only creature that is specialized in seeking meaning and making meaning. Okay. If you seek meaning, that means that meaning can be found, right? If you were thirsty, that means there might be water to satisfy your thirst. If you seek meaning, that means meaning can be found under all circumstances. Meaning can be found even in the last hour of your life, as we discover in the story of Ivan Illich. You can describe meaning that the thief nailed beside Jesus. He said, even the dying moment, he can still cry out for salvation. So you can discover meaning right up to the last minute of your life. And here's Frankel's statement. the extent that someone is living out this self-transcendence or human experience, then he's truly human, or that he becomes his true self. He becomes so not by concerning himself with his self-actualization, by forgetting himself and giving himself, overlooking himself, and focus outward. This is something, a very important concept. That means, paradoxically, if you want to be happy, you want to be successful, you should reorient your focus away from yourself and to something greater than yourself, to some other people. Most great people, most famous people like Gandhi or any great people, Nelson Mandela, they're willing to go to jail, they're willing to be killed for a cause, to free the people. So their life had a purpose. Not, oh, me, how much money can I make? They give up the high-paying job. They give up a high position in order to free the people. Think about that. Self-transcendence is the key to fulfillment, because only by forgetting yourself, forget about your self-interest and serve other people. Now, here's the interesting thing. Jesus say, the second greatest law, commandment is that love your neighbor as yourself. Okay? You know that. Jesus, this is the second greatest commandment. The first commandment is love God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul. The second great commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself, love your neighbor as I have loved you, okay? Does that contradict self-transcendence? No. How do we love it? How do we love other people? We know exactly what love yourself means. Love yourself means take care of yourself. You forgive yourself. You have compassion to yourself. So similarly, you should forgive other people, have compassion to other people, and do your everything to promote their well-being. So Franco is teaching a doctrine that can fundamentally change our organization, change our society, because because of society is in trouble because everybody has self-interest. Everybody want to get more from the system, rather than think about how can I put back more into the system. So self-transcendence, I'm doing a lot of research. Self-transcendence has a lot of good things. It can increase your well-being, physical health, can increase your sense of spirituality, religiosity. There are all kinds of adaptive benefits with self-transcendence. When Franco talks about meaning, he talks about three levels of meaning. Situational meaning means every situation, the hidden meaning in every situation. So your job is to find your meaning of life as a whole. You will have the proper life goal. And that is the ultimate meaning that we can never completely comprehend. The ultimate justice, the ultimate meaning is an ideal. It's an ideal that we can strive towards, we can approximate, but we can never fully. The meaning mindset, search for the meaning. Okay, here is something about Franco's primary technique of logotherapy. Paradoxical intention, deep reflection, Socratic dialogue. Okay. Now, paradoxical intention is one is encouraged to do or exaggerate what one fears most, to the point of being ridiculous and laughable. For example, if you are afraid of stuttering, if you are afraid of stuttering, so according to paradoxical intention that now instead of afraid of stuttering, now you intentionally try to stutter as much as you can. When trying to do that, it's careful, you're not able to do that. You're silly, okay? So whatever you are afraid of, you do more to the point of making yourself so ridiculous. So by that time, you laugh at yourself, okay? This is paradoxical therapy. Often work. The end result is that you're able to laugh at yourself. But at that time, you're no longer anxious. So paradoxical intention is based on unique human capacity to distance yourself and to laugh at yourself. Okay, you're able to laugh at yourself, able to see how silly you are, to worry about that. Then you stop worrying. Okay, now during reflection is also using principle because people always get stuck in something. They're obsessed with a problem, obsessed with the issue. So Franco says that when you are obsessed and stuck in a situation, a problem, now try to again transcend the problem, transcend yourself, direct away from the problem towards something more meaningful. Okay. For example, your work something cannot solve the problem, whatever. This and can solve the problem. Okay, just to forget about it. Listen to some music. Enjoy something pleasant. A change of direction away from yourself. So it's primarily based on the human capacity for self-transcendence. You rise above it and doing something else. Go and take a walk, enjoy nature, listen to music, or switch to something that helps other people. So these very basic things, again, trying to help you forget about yourself, okay? Just look at life, look at other people. Stop thinking about me, oh, poor me. The more poor me, the more miserable you are, okay? Now, finally, Socratic Dialogue. Now, this is where, let me give you a demonstration. At one time, there's a nurse. There's a head nurse. She used to help, very active, helping many people in the hospital. But one day, he died of cancer. He talked to Franco. He said, oh, my life was so painful, so miserable. I want to kill myself. So Franco said, Franco didn't tell her how to do. Franco using Socratic Dialogue. Franco said, are you saying that once you're sick, life is not, once you're sick, once you have cancer, life is no longer worth living? She said, yes. Okay. And Franco asked the next question. Do you mean that all the cancer patients, they all should kill themselves? No. Franco said, no. All the nurses look up to you, you're the head nurse. But you, by killing yourself, aren't you tell nurses that all the patients with cancer just kill them? They don't need. No. But your own behavior to do that, tell them their life not worth living. And then a light bulb turns on. The head nurse says, oh no, I'm not going to kill myself. I'm going to endure my pain as an example to other patients to other nurses that life is worth living. That the life is valuable, even as pain. So I'm willing to suffer as a sacrifice for other people. So the idea that you're suffering, or another example, that an old guy, miserable, his wife just died. His wife of 60 years just died. Very miserable. Frank asked him a simple question. He said, do you want to suffer now, or do you want your life to suffer because you die? He said, no, I'd rather suffer myself. So I suffer, so my wife then had to suffer. So now he again understand that he's not suffering with it's a sacrifice. I'm glad that my wife died before me, so I had to suffer grieving, suffer loneliness, so my wife then had to suffer. So by using Socratic dialogue, Frank was able to help them to understand what the right thing to do. So now I talk about my own research now, my own approach now. So Frankel again already talked about the seed of existential psychology. Although he focused on the meaning of suffering, but ultimately, logotherapy is concerned with how to help people live a full life. Okay, how to be a fully human being by being responsible by self-transcendence. So what I have done is to integrate logotherapy with part of psychology, okay? So develop a new science of existential part of psychology, okay? So, originally we have clinical psychology. Then part psychology is a revolt against clinical psychology, saying that not only talk about negative, but you talk about positive. So here I come along and say, now this is not good enough. This is not good enough. When you combine that, so I combine synthesis. So the existential psychology is a combine the two. COVID-19 support the basic tenets of, now I also have basic tenets, okay? I'll show the basic tenets, okay? First of all, we have limitations. We all have limitations, okay? And we think my life is a constant battle. And life is an endurance test. Okay? You can win, you can win the race of a marathon only are able to endure suffering. All those guys, they are now champion of long distance running because they have gone through and do a lot of pain and a lot of training. Okay, again, then I move on. Oh, a basic tenet. So here's the basic tenet of existential psychology. Embracing the dark side of life as the other half of complete well-being. Think about well-being as a circle. Think about living fully as a circle. If you only focus on the bright side, then only half of the circle. So if you want to live fully, you need to embrace the dark side of life. Second point, the yin-yang dialectic is the way to achieve optimal balance and harmony in life. So most people, life is out of whack because it's out of balance. They all work, no play, or all play, no work, or all me, no other people, or all other people, no self. So people life in trouble because it's out of balance. You were able to, when no time to explain now, you were able to, you want to achieve a balance, harmony in your life. You need to balance, find the optimal balance between self and others. Depending on God or control, self-control, depending on other people. happiness and sadness, find a optimal balance, chaos or order. Everything in life exists in duality. So our job is not to go one way or another, but how to achieve a balance. The third thing is facing life with resilient mindset as the condition for flourishing and character building. We all want to flourish, but mindset is very important. We talked about minimum mindset earlier, but resilient mindset, including minimum mindset. Resilient mindset, you need to have a resilient mind. We'll explain that further. Right? If you have a resilient mind, then you are able to flourish, to be, to succeed, to thrive. And number 4, you pursue self-transcendence. And that's the best way to self-actualize and fulfillment. Okay, model. Now, do you want to kiss your dark cousin? Yeah. This is a happy self. Do you want to kiss your miserable cousin? It's the dark side of your life. And you were able to dance with death. You're able to embrace the dark side of life. Then you have some understanding about how to live life fully. Okay. Here's now in physical health, we know that doesn't matter how you take care of your health, if you do not control the virus, you still get sick. So just do things to make you healthy, not good enough. You have to keep the virus under control. Similarly, for mental health, you can do anything about making you happy, give a sense of control, do all psychology stuff, self-control, and make yourself happy. You can do all things in one, but if you're not able to keep the mental virus under control, such as jealousy, envy, greed, pride, laziness, notability, hate. Those are toxins. Those are viruses. You're not able to purge yourself of the viruses. You will never be happy. That's why I'm telling Martin Seligman and the positive psychology. I say, look, positive psychology is good, but if you only focus on positive psychology, ignore the toxins in life. They don't go away. The toxins don't go away. The evil and suffering, the injustice, the poverty, the cruelty, the corruption, they will not go away. They will ruin our life, ruin society. So therefore, part of mental health is sustainable only when we keep the toxins under control. Only when we can able to transform the dark forces. The dialectic model. See, in everything dark, that is a bright spot. In everything bright, that is a dark spot. Everything, this is from ancient Chinese Taoism. It's 4,000 or 5,000 years old. It's such wisdom, okay? Everything exists in duality. Good and evil, sadness, happiness, life and death. Yeah. Everything in physical system and psychology, okay, that's the key. Now, the 4 basic concepts and skill, the 4 basic concepts, the golden triangle, also like, let's go one single time. Usually, I work with my clients, I say, I like check the same areas. Meaning, relationship, faith. That's relationship, okay? Do you have good relationship with your wife, with parents, with their children? Now, if you have relationship difficulties, you're in trouble. Usually people come to me, my clients, usually suffer from one of the three areas. We learn from attachment theory that the ability to form close relationship is very important. Now, if you do not have the basic skill to trust people, to form close relationship, you'll forever have marital problem, a work problem. So to be able to mutual care, mutual trust. And the second area is meaning. Do you have meaningful life goal? Do you have the right attitude towards work? If you do not have any work, you are sick. You got sick from not working, not from working too much. Work too much not good for you, but still better than don't do any work. Don't do any work, wondering is about the worst thing that can happen to you. Do nothing can ruin you, can make your life boring and make you depressed. So therefore, even when you're in hospital, you still try ways to engage your mind in prayer, in praising God, or reading. So your mind, your hand have to be occupied in order to generate, create some meaning for your life. You do nothing than wondering. When wondering, that you're inviting all kinds of evil thoughts, negative thoughts, make life miserable. Finally, do I have faith? Do I have faith in the future? Faith in yourself? Faith in God? Faith in other people? Because many things are beyond my control. And I don't know why as a woman, so many of my women clients are so anxious, so miserable, so worried. They have no faith. So many of them are Christian. I believe in Jesus, I believe in Jesus, but they're still worried. What if the sky may fall down? What if everything goes wrong? What if this may go wrong? That may go wrong. I'm in a similar situation. I don't fear. I know that since beyond within my control, I do my best. I put my best to make it work. Since I'm beyond my control, I say, God, you take care of it. So why should I worry? So usually if we are take care of these areas, our life becomes much better. Okay. Meaning, see, we also answer. So the power of meaning seeking, but we need to understand that there are two kinds of meaning seeking. One is positive oriented, one is negative oriented. When things go wrong, we say, why? Why me? What just happened? And we ask, how? How that happened? Why and how? Okay? When that's going to happen. So usually, when that's going to happen, usually it's tell us that something is wrong within us, something wrong with our society, that there's somewhere something wrong. So this negatively oriented why help us to find a solution, help us to find reason. So you like the pain help the doctor to diagnose what part of the body get wrong. Psychological pain show us that something in my life is out of whack. Either in relationship area we are deficient, or in work area we don't have a proper attitude of work, or we have no faith. So the negatively oriented search for meaning has a very useful diagnostic purpose. And positive oriented meaning has to do with what you think about future. how can we have a, what is my life goal? How can I create for the future? What's my life goal? How should I invest my life? Okay. Even though you cannot find a job, but you still need to pursue an ideal. I did not get a chance to pursue my ideal until go to university until I was 29. When I was unemployed, I didn't stay at home. Oh, poor me, poor me. I fill my day with self-disciplined study. Every day, you go to the library, bought a whole stack of books, philosophy, physiology, everything. So during my days of unemployment, I did not waste any time. I do part-time work, whatever, but I fill my days with study. So that's why when I finally went to university at 29, I'm able to sail through university in 2 years, sail through graduate program in 2 years. I'm able to finish all my study in 4.5 years. And why? Because I have invested many years at home studying. I didn't waste my time. So that's why search for meaning is important. Now here, the paradox self-transcendence. So here's in humanistic psychology, including Maslow, it's about self-actualization. After you fulfill yourself, then you transcend yourself. Franco and I see the opposite. When you self-actualize, you do to transcend yourself first. You develop yourself, and you fully develop a gift so that you can use the gift and give the gift away. If so give a gift away, you have sense of self-actualization. Oh, I achieved. My life is now empty. I'm able to fulfill my life because you give your gift away. You give your life away. You burn your life as a candle to give light to other people. Only when you burn your life as a candle to light up a dark continent, a dark room, then you discover you have self-actualized. Faith, Hebrew 11 is beautiful. Okay, of faith. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. I'm sure that my hope will come true. I'm sure that what is invisible is the more trustworthy than what's visible. Okay, so faith gives me a lot of power. So I'm unbeatable. I'm unstoppable because through Christ I can overcome and do all things. I triumph through faith. And also love, without love, here 4 element meaning. So I said, in research, I unpack the word meaning. That meaning basically have 4 components. First of all, have purpose, understanding, reliability, and evaluation. I think all of it, and so far all the research has supported 2, 3, and 4. Supported 1, 2, and 4. But people so far, they don't research, they don't include reliability. For example, self-determination theory, of self-efficacy, of self-control. Everything with self pre-assume that that's reliability because you have taken responsibility to want to take control of things. You have assumed an ability to choose your own path. So everything that is worthwhile doing begin with reliability. So we need to have sense of ability first before everything else. You be, oh, I'm not responsible for life. I'm a victim. Then nothing happens. I have a dependency disorder, my doctor told me. Therefore, somebody need to take care of me. That is person can never find meaning in life. Because he said, my mother, my wife take care of me because my doctor said I have a dependency disorder or I have a depression disorder. Somebody take care of me. Your person doesn't assume, refuse to assume responsibility, then that person can never have meaning. Responsible. Just give a little bit about it. I just want to, I want to conclude by talk this slide. Okay? The new sign of suffering for the age of COVID-19 develop a resilient mindset. I'm saying that life is difficult. Life is a constant battle. Life is not for the faint-hearted. If you overprotect your children, cut your children, do not survive in this world. After COVID-19, the competition even become tougher. There are fewer jobs with the with technology progress, robots will take over many jobs. There are fewer jobs. And there tougher competition. So if you are not tough-minded, if you don't have mental toughness, you'll be spend the rest of your life a victim. Oh, I'm sick. I'm depression. I can't do things. If you do want to be a victim, you do want to play the sick role all your life. If you want to live a full, exciting life, you get to be tough. You got to train yourself every day. How to do the things you don't like to do. You want to train yourself endurance and how to push your limit. See how much you can endure. Don't be too easy on yourself. I'm tough on myself. I'm 83 and still work many hours a day. Most people are too soft on themselves. Oh, I got a headache. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, most people pamper themselves too much. Yeah, we need self-care. We need self-compassion. But we also need to discipline ourselves, condition ourselves, so that we'll be mentally tough and emotionally tough to face a dangerous world, to face the enemy, the virus, to face the enemy, the corruption, the bad guys, the evil people, the evil power. We need to train ourselves, arm our mind with stillness, with toughness. Okay? Number two, do not be afraid to take responsibility. If I make a mistake, sorry, this is my mistake. Don't blame other people. Blame other people. I'm so surprised that often I apologize, the other people will not apologize. Why is it so difficult to apologize for your mistakes? I'm always the first one to apologize. But I am accountable for what I do. I take responsibility. So if you're a responsible worker, then everybody will hire you. If you blame your boss, blame other people for your mistakes, then you'll get fired, okay? Number three, gratitude and appreciation. In positive psychology, gratitude is the most powerful factor. In existential positive psychology, one even give thanks for difficult times, for troubles and blessings in disguise. So you're able to appreciate the gift of life, appreciate suffering, appreciate hardship, then you'll be a happy person. Number 4, observe things mindfully, with openness, without prejudice. You accept life as it is. Do not accept life as what it should be. Life unfolds, you accept it. Good and bad, you accept it. And fifthly, we can transform all negative things in a meaningful way. Yeah, I can transform all bad things. You can test me out. All bad things, If people scold me, I say, oh, I learn humility, I learn endurance. Whatever bad things happen to me, I always transform it into an occasion for learning. The last point is belief in a better future through faith and hope in God. Faith will keep us going. Faith keep me going strong. By faith, I can conquer all the giants. I can defeat all the giants. I'm a little guy, but I'm not afraid of anything, because the God in me is greater than all the things in the world. Thank you for listening to me. I'm done. I'm 15 minutes over time. Thank you for listening to me. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Wong. That's really amazing. I was just saying, wow, this is great. It's time for questions and answers. Do we have any questions? I think, Tim, you can help put this on a grid so that Dr. Wong can see everyone. Do we have any questions? I think, Dr. Wong, I will say this was really relevant for Kenya, because at the moment, we have cases of people who have stolen the money from COVID, and everyone is really feeling discouraged.
You might better able to solve the problem if you're able to give yourself a break, give yourself permission to pursue something that give you joy in your life, in your heart. Just change the scenery, a change of scenery, a change of perspective can give you a lift.
So it's not avoidance or denial.
No, just a transcendence for a moment, and then face each again.
Wow, thank you very much. Is there any question from the participants? You can unmute yourself. Any question for Dr. Wong before we end the presentation? You can also use the chat. Somebody is asking, is logotherapy a form of distraction? Is logotherapy a form of distraction, like distracting yourself?
For one side, logotherapy, it helps you to avoid distraction, but face the issue squarely. Because people trying to avoid suffering through distraction. Logotherapy say, no, distraction doesn't help you. You must face the suffering, find the meaning of suffering, and overcome. So logotherapy is not distraction, but help you to confront. So I make the case even stronger. I say, you can't succeed in anything. You can't overcome darkness and suffering, and until you face it with a resilient mindset, face it with mental toughness, face it with mindfulness, face it with your faith. Arm yourself with faith in God. Face it, okay? Unless you stare in the eye of your enemy, you cannot defeat him.
Oh, thank you very much. I think it's been really a profound presentation, very timely for Kenya, very timely, I think, in the world. And we hope that we will have you again, Dr. Wong. It's really amazing for you to accept and do this presentation. We are looking forward towards your book. I know Tim had sent the book and also the certificates.
Yeah. So it's my pleasure to be part of it. I'm sorry for the technical problem in the beginning. I can't make the key working. Sorry about that. So next time, I'll make sure my assistant get it working in the beginning.
No problem. We are all learning. It's a learning time. It's a learning process, and we are all learning. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye. Bye.